to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another video and welcome to my August TBR tarot. Excuse me? I beg your finest pardon? How are we already in August? Please, please make it make sense, because I just can't seem to fathom how this year is going by so freaking fast. But here we are once again for another TBR video, and I'm very excited to share with you guys my TBR for the month of August. August is the month where I get my shit back together. I get my life in order. I get my reading back on track because I have been slacking. I've been slacking, but that's okay. In July, I told myself I was just going to take it easy, have a good month, read whatever I wanted to, don't read when I didn't want to, play a ton of video games, and I did everything I set out to do in July, and I had a wonderful time. But I miss reading. I miss having a structured reading schedule and getting back to reading as many books as I can throughout the month without trying to stress myself out too much. But it's time. It's time to get back into it. I am just so excited to share with you guys my TBR for the month of August. I have so many fun plans for this month, and hopefully I can actually do it and achieve all the things I'm hoping to, because it's another hefty month. Who would have thought? That being said, if you've never been to a TBR tarot video of mine, what I do is I use the Fairy Loot tarot deck to pick a card out of the deck. Each card has an assigned prompt, and I use that prompt to pick a book off of my TBR. It's pretty easy and self-explanatory. I did not make up this idea. It's no way my idea at all. I always leave a playlist of other people that do this type of video down in the description box below if you'd like to go check them out, as well as my playlist for the past several months that I have been doing this game. So let's quickly recap how I did in July, and then we'll go over my plans for August and then get into the polls for August as well. Keep in mind that in July, I made it very clear that I was not setting out to complete my TBR. If I read the books, great. If I didn't, great. There was going to be no punishments or rewards, so we will take that into effect when I talk about my TBR for the last month. However, in August, we are going back to regular playing rules, and if I don't finish my August TBR, there will be a punishment. So the first prompt for July was 8 of Pentacles, and that was a random number generator, and that landed on Under Luck by Mariana Zapata, and I did not read this. The 10 of Stars was to finish a series, and I put the lofty goal of myself to read 2 books, and that was Powerful and Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I did read Powerful, but I did not read Reckless. The Knight of Moons is an Instagram scroll, and that landed me on The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, and no one is surprised I did not read this. For the Page of Wands, I was supposed to read Feybound, and I did read this. For Justice, I was supposed to read Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood. I do own this book, but it's in the car, and I did read this. For the Queen of Wands, I was supposed to read Fragile Sanctuary by Catherine Cowles, and I did read that. For the 7 of Moons, for another month in a row, I chose Caught Up, and for another month in a row, I did not read it. For the 2 of Stars, I was supposed to read Crossroads by Devney Perry, and I did read this. And finally, for The Magician, I was supposed to read The Honey Witch, and I am currently in the middle of this one. I am filming this video a little bit late in the month and getting out to you guys a little bit late, so I apologize about that. So I am carrying over some books from last month with the hopes that I can get them off of my TBR, but we're just going to, other than my one rollover, start the month with a clean slate and hope that I can get back on my reading game. So before we get into the actual pools for the month, I just want to talk about the book club picks that I'm going to be reading for the month of August. The first one being the Swoony Readers book club pick, a book club hosted by myself and the besties every single month. It's a romance book club. I will leave them linked down below, as well as their Instagrams and their YouTube channels. But for the month of August, we are reading The Reunion by Megan Quinn. We are reading this very, very early on in the month, so I actually need to get started on this ASAP, because I'm pretty sure the live show is this weekend. But it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. I did not fit this one on my TBR, but I do have to read it this month, so here it is. I would also like to, every month I try to fit in the Thrills and Chills book club for the month, and this time it is Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, his newest release, and we'll see. I will try my very best. If I can't, I'm sorry. I will try. They know. They already know. But that is run and hosted by Dana from Dana Ella and Nikki from Nikki's Bookish Coven. I will leave them linked down below, as well as their Instagram, if you would like to follow them. Each and every month they read a thriller book, and it's so much fun. So I am gonna try. I'm gonna try. But without further ado, let's finally get into the polls for August. So there's no punishment or reward this month, so let's get right into shuffling the deck. Okay, the deck is shuffled. Let's pull our very first card. The 10 of Moons. Pull number 1 got us the 10 of Moons, and this is to read a new to me author, and for this I'm going to be reading Black Swan Affair by K.L. Craig. I have heard nothing but good things about this. Amanda actually has really been pushing this one on me, saying that she loved it and she thinks that I will really love it, so I'm very excited to finally pick this one up and give it a go. Hopefully I can get to it. It is a Mystic or Bell Box book that I've had on my list for quite some time, and I am trying to slowly dwindle down my subscription box books. It's not always easy, but I'm trying my very best, and this is definitely one that I would like to pick up. I don't really know too much about it. I think it might be Mafia, but I really don't know. So I'm very curious to see what it's going to bring, and hopefully I enjoy it as much as Amanda did. Pull number 2. The Hanged Man. Pull number 2 got us The Hanged Man. I feel like this one gets pulled quite often as well, but this is a romantic suspense. And for this, I'm going to be reading Hidden Waters by Catherine Cowles, the next book in the Lost and Found series that I need to read. And I'm sorry, the Tattered and Torn series. I keep thinking Lost and Found because that's the series that I just read, but the Tattered and Torn series, I have been meaning to get around to the rest of the series for quite some time now, and I'm slowly trying to dwindle my way through it so that I can read the rest of her backlist. So hopefully I can get to this one. I have been loving Catherine Cowles' works. I do think that the Lost and Found series is better than this one, but I am still curious to see what I'm going to think of this one. I don't really know what it's about. It's small town. It's romantic suspense. I don't know who it's following, but hopefully I enjoy it more than the last book, but I don't know. We'll see. The Hierophant. Pull number 3 got us The Hierophant, and this is to read a queer romance. And for this, I'm going to be reading Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. I've been meaning to move on with the series for quite some time. It's been on my radar for a little bit, and I really enjoyed Delilah Green Doesn't Care, so hopefully I really enjoy the second book in this series. I'm excited to be reading more from this author. I actually saw this author at Steamy Lit when I was there this weekend, and they were so kind and so nice, and I've been really meaning to get back to the series. So what a perfect opportunity. I'm excited to read this one, and if I really enjoy it, then hopefully I can buy myself a physical copy. The 7 of Stars. Our next pull got us the 7 of Stars, and that is to read a book with foiling on the cover. And for this, I'm going to be reading Sunbringer by Hannah Kaner. As you can see a little bit there is a lot of foiling in the title of the book as well as the author's name. So I'm excited, as well as little dots and stuff here and there. But I've been meaning to pick up the sequel of this series for quite some time, and I've had it on my shelves for a little while now that it's been released, and I haven't picked it up. So this is the perfect excuse for me to do so. I'm excited. I really enjoyed the first book. I didn't love it, but I did think that it had a lot of potential for the world to grow and for me to really fall in love with the world and the characters. So I'm excited to get back into the series. I don't really want to. How would I explain it? It follows the first book is Godkiller, by the way. First book is Godkiller. It follows a woman who her job is to go out and kill gods until she runs into a god that she cannot kill because it's attached to a young child. And they set out on a journey to detach this young kid and the god. And it's a very interesting story. There's also some romance that is involved that I really enjoyed. So hopefully I like the second book just as much. The 7 of Moons. Our next pull was a duplicate pull, so we will be adding one more pull to the end of this, which is unfortunate for a month where I'm trying to get back on track, but it's okay. It's okay. And this is to read a popular book, and for this, I'm finally going to bite the bullet and pick up Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. I did put this one in my last TBR as one of my hopefuls. I obviously didn't get around to it, so now's the time. Now's the time to just get it off of my freaking TBR and see if I would like to continue with the series. I loved the first book. It was kind of like a love-hate relationship for me. It was a dreadful experience, but somehow I ended up loving the characters and the journey, and I'm very curious to see what I'm going to think of Daisy Hates. I did try to read the first chapter physically with my eyeballs, and the footnote took me out. So I'm really looking forward to trying the audiobook of the second book and seeing what I think of this one. Hopefully, I like it. The 9 of Pentacles. Our next pull got us the 9 of Pentacles, and this is to read a book with illustrations on the spine. And for this, I'm going to be reading Glint by Raven Kennedy. I don't know if you can see the small amount of gold illustration on the spine, and I'm going to use it because I need to continue on with the series. The series has been haunting me for so long. I own all of the books that are currently published in the hardcover, and I haven't even read the second book yet. So now's the time. I need to read book 2. I'm not going to reread book 1. Maybe I'll read a spoilery recap just to get me back up to speed, but hopefully I can finally move on with the series because I have been wanting to. I didn't love the first book, but I've heard that it gets better as the series continues, and you have a better understanding of the plot of the story as you read more of the books. So hopefully I like book 2 because I do own all of them and they were not freaking cheap. So crossing my fingers. I love this one. This is a King Midas retelling. The main character is literally gold-plated everything. She is King Midas's favorite, and it is her escaping her bonds and her chains of the life that she currently lives and finding love in a relationship in a fantasy landscape. I think. I don't really know. We shall see. The Tower. Our next pull got us The Tower, and this is to read a book with buildings on the cover, and for this I'm going to be reading One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This one, tell me how. Tell me how I still have not read it. Karina, Dana, and I decided to read this one together this month, so I'm excited to finally get around to it. It's been on my list for a while, and right around when Fourth Wing was blowing up, this book was also very, very hyped and very talked about, and somehow I read Fourth Wing and loved it, and then never got around to this one. So it is time. I believe this one follows a girl who has a monster in her head, but the monster is like illegal or something. I don't really know. I don't really know how it works. I think there's some type of card magic going on. I don't really know, but I am definitely intrigued, and I do own the second book in the matching Fairly edition, so I really need to get around to the first book in the series. The World. Our next pull got us The World, and that means I need to read a big book, and for this, it worked out because I am reading this book already this month, but damn, I did not want this prompt, and that is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winters. This is 535 pages, so definitely fits the big book prompt, but it's an adult fantasy, so send your prayers to me. But I am going to be listening to the audiobook, so cross my fingers that that is easy to understand, and I don't know. I'm hoping that it's one of those adult fantasies that doesn't feel like an adult fantasy, if you know what I mean. But from what I've heard of the story, it definitely does, but I'm intrigued nonetheless. I'm excited to get around to this one. It's been on my radar and on my TBR for quite some time. I do own the book, but it's in storage, so hopefully, crossing my fingers, that I love it and it doesn't make me want to cry because it's so hard to understand. So we shall see. And if you tried to ask me for a synopsis of that one, I would have to tell you I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm gonna give it a try. And was hopefully our last pull number 9. Death. And because we had a duplicate pull, this is going to be our 9th and final pull for the month, and that is Death, and this is to read a mafia romance. And for this, I'm going to be reading Snow by Sophie Lark, the second book in the Underworld series. I read book 1, Ivan, a few months ago, and I've been meaning to get around to books 2 and 3 so I can get back to the Kingmaker series. So I felt like this was the perfect opportunity for me to read Snow. I didn't love Ivan, if I'm being honest. I only gave that book 3 stars, but I am committed to reading all of Sophie Lark's books, so this is a great opportunity for me to pick this one up. I will have to read it with my eyeballs, though. There were no audiobooks for all the books in this series, which is very unfortunate for moi, but I did read the first book and I got through it okay. It's not too hard. Sophie Lark's writing is very easy to pick up and enjoy, so hopefully I like Snow, but we'll see. I'm not putting my expectations too high just because I really didn't enjoy Ivan as much as I thought I was going to. Alrighty friends, that is everything that I wanted to talk about today, all of the books that I'm supposed to be reading for the month of August. Let's hope that I can get myself back on track. However, if I don't, I'm not going to be too harsh on myself. I'm going to give myself grace, and I know the reading journey changes and fluctuates, and it'll come back when, you know, the time is right. I'm hoping August is the time, but if it's not, that is a-okay. Let me know what you guys plan on reading in August. I'm also going to be trying to participate in a readathon hosted by Amanda and Clint called Fiction Falls Academy. I don't have a TBR set for that just yet. It's going to be a as the month kind of goes along, figuring out my TBR, just because I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself, but I did want to support the besties and give them all the love and appreciation because they always do that for me. So I definitely wanted to put my all in and support, but I don't want to make any big commitments on a set TBR. I just kind of want things to fall into place. So hopefully that will be the case for me for this month, and I will definitely try my best to participate as much as I can in the readathon because I'm so proud of them for putting in all of the hard work. And of course, I will leave Amanda and Clint's channels and their announcement videos in the description box below if you would like to go check out their wonderful readathon. Alrighty friends, that is the end of this video. Feel free to let me know what you plan on reading in August. What is your top priority? Also, feel free to share with me any of the books that I mentioned today. If you've read them, I would love to hear your thoughts, what you thought of them. Did you love them? Did you hate them? Should I stay away during my somewhat reading slump? Let me know. If you made it to the end of this video, leave any magical emoji for the tarot pulls. I appreciate you so much. If you made it to the end and you enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and of course leave any comments, questions, suggestions in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Thanks, baby.